$19.99 US dollars. Thank you very much. Shout out Harry and team. What protocol would you recommend for 7-day water fast fighting H. pylori already? Using 1 gram of taurine, that's not enough per day, and 50 milligrams of vitamin B6. Should I add leucine, carnosine as well to replenish gut? I mean, those things are going to help in an indirect way, but ultimately you need to go much higher on the taurine. I mean, 10, 12 grams, stuff like that. Much higher, but I can't recommend that. I can only recommend between 6 for normal people, for, up to 10, because the sort of the studies with the animals and stuff like that. But, think higher. Like, what did Harry do? He sort of was doing 20. But you go slowly, you build up to that sort of level. But I can't recommend that, obviously. Not allowed to. But yeah, just think you can go to those higher levels. Got one friend doing, Lamo, he's doing about 35 now. Sorting out all his issues, he's going. Obviously, some people do react. They need choline to deal with the excess sulfur because they can't clear out sulfur in a well way. Bart's one of those people. And usually, if you can't handle things like sulfur-rich foods like eggs and onions and stuff like that, you definitely know you've got a sulfur problem. You can't metabolize sulfur properly or clear it out properly. And those sort of people then you're not going to be forcing it out of the kidneys in an efficient way. So those people need pretty much to force it out of the bile. Get rid of it in a number of different ways, detox it, sort of break it down and get rid of in that regard. Not that it's a toxin, but you know what I mean. Break it down through your liver and remove it in that and try and for. So that's where choline plays a role with sulfur. Some people just have these issues. Bart's one of them. So he can't handle eggs at all. Yeah, I think he'll have one egg now and then, but he ends up farting like mad and all that. Let's put it this way: Pim's not happy. So he still takes taurine, but he knows a much less amount because he knows there are benefits in it. So anyway, so pretty much I have done a video on the stomach, and the biggest problem with H. pylori is that H. pylori tries to prevent the proton pumps from working properly. It's trying to keep, the pH high, not low. And most people end up with a pretty much a higher pH, which is the biggest problem. So you really need to suppress it. You also need to consider taking the L-reuteri. So if you go and check my videos, if Lukey, you don't mind putting that L-reuteri supplement in the chat, so get that as well. You need to do that for about 6 months because that actually suppresses a lot of the pathogenic bacteria, including H. pylori. Together with that, and that also you should consider HCl. So you need to, try and get your acidity up because H. pylori is trying to fight acidity because it likes an alkaline environment. So you need to basically try and suppress that. And so that would be a good way. I don't like taking antibiotics because antibiotics are sort of like a last thing because sometimes what we've found is antibiotics are causing a lot of the H. pylori to become resistant to antibiotics and become even more hard to deal with. So we want to do it with the taurine. We want to do it with something to increase the to lower the pH, to increase the acidity in the stomach, because that will really bring it under control and suppress it. And so I have covered part of that in a video called on stomach. So if you go under the digestive issues, I cover stomach issues in regards to these sort of issues. So there's a video that covers that. but I would definitely try and get my acidity down, sorry, up, and my pH down as a consequence. So the more acidic your stomach becomes, the higher that has a natural suppressive effect against H. pylori. Taurine regulates the proton pumps and also suppresses directly um, H. pylori, and this supplement also helps uh, that Luke is looking for, and he'll put in the chat shortly. That also helps in dealing with this process. And water fasting, yeah, water fasting isn't going to, and that's correct. Yes, and I think I've said that before. Anyway, water fasting isn't going to sort out the problem.